Change is real. It is there to guide us to be more mature. Founded in 1965, Universitas Negeri Semarang continues to transform into one of the nation's proud state universities. Like a tree, its roots penetrate deeply into the values and traditions of the nation. Its leaves are born to many great young talents. UNNES' vision is to become the world's reputable university, to be a pioneer of educational brilliance with a conservation perspective. This is the vision that guides us to carry out the three dharma of higher education: education, research, and community service. The change in institutional status from Badan Layanan Umum to Perguruan Tinggi Negeri Berbadan Hukum brought real changes in the academic, institutional, and cultural fields. The greater the autonomy, the more achievements are achieved. Leaner in organizational governance, more real in work and contribution. Perguruan Tinggi Negeri Berbadan Hukum is like a golden bridge. We are moving faster for achieving international reputations, educational excellence, and conservation insight.
Perubahan menjadi PTNBH membuat Universitas Negeri Semarang lebih fleksibel dalam memanfaatkan sumber daya yang ada, sehingga kita bisa berkontribusi optimal untuk bangsa dan negara tercinta.
9 faculties and 1 postgraduate school are bridges for young Indonesians to realize their dreams. Faculty of Education and Psychology, Faculty of Languages and Arts, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Sports Science, Faculty of Economics and Business, Faculty of Law, and the youngest, Faculty of Medicine. The accelerated development of facilities and infrastructure are signs of our passion to serve others. Healthy governance is a proof of sincere dedication from our heart. This is Universitas Negeri Semarang, home to young Indonesian talents who are ready to grow and contribute to the wider society.
Di UNNES, kami bukan hanya mempelajari ilmu pengetahuan, kami juga belajar tentang pengabdian, agar di kemudian hari kami bisa berkontribusi optimal untuk kemajuan Indonesia.
The network of cooperation on 5 continents has strengthened its work to become the pride of Indonesia's educational institutions. Creativity, values, and intention are reflected into the work. Knowledge and innovation are the foundation of its dedication. Universitas Negeri Semarang continues to transform. We welcome a new and brighter day of future. For the nation, for Indonesia, for human civilization.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our event will be starting shortly. Please be ready. Well, hello, good morning. The Honorable Dean of Mathematics and Natural Science Faculty, Universitas Negeri Semarang, Professor Dr. Edi Cahyono, the Honorable Vice Deans of Mathematics and Natural Science Faculty, Mr. Zainal Abidin, Ph.D., Dr. Isnarto, Professor Dr. Sutikno, the Honorable Coordinator of Webinar, Mr. Ariff Widiatmoko, Ph.D., the Honorable Speakers of this event from Universiti Malaya, Dr. Maisarah binti Hasbullah, Dr. Suzana Ariff binti Azizan, and Dr. Muhammad Zufri bin Mamat. The Honorable Study Program Coordinator, Secretary, Chief of Laboratory of Mathematics and Natural Sciences Faculty, Universitas Negeri Semarang, distinguished guests, and all of the participants of the webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very warm greeting to each and every one of you. On behalf of the organizers, would like to extend warm welcome and express our gratitude for participating in the webinar, Communication and Ethical Practices, a guide for postgraduate researchers. I am Lutfia Nurhadianti, will be the master of ceremony of this event today. And ladies and gentlemen, this event is proudly presented by Mathematics and Natural Sciences Faculty, Universitas Negeri Semarang, to help all of the postgraduate students preparing their research. Yeah, and to begin with, allow me to read the agenda of our opening ceremony of this event. The first is listening of the Indonesian National Anthem. Second, dua. Third, opening speech from the Dean of Mathematics and Natural Sciences Faculty. Fourth, photo session. Fifth, main session of the speakers, with the speakers, sorry. Sixth, token of appreciation, and the last is closing. And the honorable distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to honor our country, let us first listen the Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. So please everyone be ready and set the position. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the next agenda, dua. We will have a silent moment to let everyone pray so our event will run well. Praying begin. praying finished. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as the Mathematics and Natural Sciences faculty is the organizer of this event, I would like to invite the Dean of this faculty, Professor Dr. Edi Cahyono, to give opening remark. Also welcome all of the participants here. So Professor Edi, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pertama-tama tentu kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala bahwa pada pagi ini dalam bulan Ramadan kita dapat menyelenggarakan kegiatan yang mulia, webinar yang temanya saya pikir cukup unik ya bagi mahasiswa pasca sarjana. Saya ucapkan terima kasih, selamat datang pada semuanya. Yang saya hormati Pak Wakil Dekan Bidang Akademik dan Kemahasiswaan, Pak Dr. Zainal Abidin, Pak Wakil Dekan 2, Pak Dr. Isnarto, dan Pak Wakil Dekan 3, Prof. Sutikno. Kemudian yang tentu kita berterima kasih, thank and welcome to our speakers today webinar, Dr. Maisarah binti Hasbullah, Dr. Suzana Ariff binti Azizan, also Dr. Muhammad Zufri bin Mamat. Thanks for joining in our webinar that conducted by Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences. Hari ini kita akan mendiskusikan tema yang menarik, yaitu tentang Communication and Ethical Practices, a Guide for Postgraduate Researchers. Jadi pengalaman pribadi saya ketika dulu belum banyak teman-teman berkunjung ke luar negeri, ketika saya akan mengikuti program sandwich begitu, ketika menulis pertama, apply pertama pada calon supervisor. Kalimat ini benar atau tidak, sopan atau tidak, ada teman yang memberitahu kita baca bersama-sama di laboratorium pada waktu itu. Kemudian, oh harusnya begini, mengenalkan diri dulu, kemudian melihat dulu apa yang interest kita terhadap apa yang dilakukan calon supervisor kita. Kemudian setelah ada jawaban, kita pun diskusikan bersama. Jadi bagi sebagian dari kita, problem komunikasi ilmiah antar peneliti, antar calon mahasiswa dengan calon supervisor, kemudian bahkan ketika kita akan melakukan komunikasi dengan penguji untuk misalkan mendapatkan funding dari apakah beasiswa, apakah riset, dan sebagainya, komunikasi ini menjadi penting, dan itu tidak banyak kita peroleh di dalam bangku kuliah. Oleh karena itu, kita berterima kasih dengan kegiatan yang dilakukan kerjasama. Ini ada Pak Ariff, Bu Fidia, dan Bapak Ibu yang lain yang telah berkontribusi untuk terjalannya kegiatan ini. Tentu ini adalah kegiatan yang perlu kita manfaatkan sebaik mungkin. Saya ucapkan selamat datang juga dan terima kasih atas bergabungnya pada kegiatan ini. Teman-teman mahasiswa program magister, program doktor dari UNNES sendiri. Di UNNES ini ada program studi S2 pendidikan matematika, S2 pendidikan IPA, S2 fisika, S2 pendidikan kimia, sebentar lagi juga S2 biologi. Kemudian juga kita punya program doktor pendidikan matematika dan pendidikan IPA. Mudah-mudahan saya mengamati peserta ini bertambah terus. Jadi kalau tadi start di angka 80 berapa begitu, sekarang sudah 138. Mudah-mudahan akan bertambah terus. Juga tentu ucapan terima kasih pada mahasiswa-mahasiswa dari luar UNNES. Terima kasih atas perhatian dan mau bergabung. dari UIN Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung, kemudian UPGRIS Semarang, dari Universitas Negeri Surabaya, kemudian juga jauh sekali Musamus dari Papua, kemudian ada juga Universitas Singa Perbangsa Karawang, juga yang dekat dari kita, Universitas Muria Kudus. Mudah-mudahan kegiatan ini akan memberikan manfaat sebanyak-banyaknya bagi saudara-saudara mahasiswa dalam berbagai bentuk komunikasi ilmiah ataupun untuk tujuan-tujuan tertentu yang tentu saja manfaatnya sangat banyak. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada semua panitia. Mudah-mudahan kegiatan ini bisa berlangsung lancar sampai selesai dan tidak berhenti di situ. Kalau memang diperlukan, webinar series ini dapat dilanjutkan dengan pendalaman pada tema yang sama atau tema-tema yang lain. Ini tentu saja ada kepentingan yang lain, kerjasama antara Universitas Negeri Semarang dengan Universitas Malaya di Singapura, juga teman-teman dari perguruan tinggi lain dalam negeri. Nah, mudah-mudahan pula bahwa komunikasi ini berlanjut pada kolaborasi-kolaborasi, apakah dalam bentuk conference, apakah itu dalam bentuk research, apakah terkait dengan penggalian data, pengumpulan data, dan sebagainya, yang akhirnya bisa menjadi sarana untuk mempermudah teman-teman mahasiswa menyelesaikan studinya. Demikian yang dapat saya sampaikan. Mari kita mulai kegiatan ini dengan membaca basmalah bersama-sama. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Semoga Allah selalu memberikan petunjuk bagi kita semua. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Eddie, for the remark. Now, the webinar Communication and Ethical Practices, a Guide for Postgraduate Studies is officially opened. And the next agenda is photo session. So I will let everyone to prepare, set the position, and also maybe pose in front of the camera. For the online participant, please turn your camera on. I will count to confirm the committee to capture the screen. So please be prepared. 1, 2, 3. Next slide, maybe. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the third slide. 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. And maybe the last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, thank you. Now we reach the main agenda of this event, but before we go to the discussion, I will tell you the rule of the activity. The first is participants are required to turn the camera on during the lecture. And the second is please mute your microphone during the lecture, except during the question and answer session, especially when you want to ask something. The third is please respect the speaker when speaking. And the next is you may give applause or any reaction when requested by the MC or the moderator. And the last is the committee will remove the participants with technical problems and maybe disrupt the session and will be re-invited into the meeting after that. Yeah, and the main session will be guided by Mrs. Fibriana as the moderator. But before we start, let me read the biography of the moderator. Fibriana, Ph.D. The field of the study of our moderator is biotechnology, and bachelor degree is from Universitas Negeri Semarang, master degree from biotechnology, Prince of Songkla University, Thailand, and the doctorate degree also from the same university, biotechnology, Prince Songkla University, Thailand, and she was an awardee of Beasiswa Unggulan, both for the master and also doctorate degree. And her life motto is "Our soul is for the benefit of mankind." Yeah, and she has been teaching in Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science faculty since 2015. And the research and publication is on biology, microbiology, biotechnology, science education, and you can see all of those from Sinta profile and Google profile of Miss Fidia Fibriana. So please welcome Mrs. Fidia Fibriana, and Miss Fidia Fibriana, time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Latvia. Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Because our webinar panel session is about to begin. Please have a nice seat and make yourself to be comfortable. Right, so thank you very much. The Honorable all speakers from Universiti Malaya, Malaysia, Dr. Maisarah binti Hasbullah, Dr. Suzana Ariff binti Azizan, and Dr. Mohd Zufri bin Mamat, the Honorable Dean and Vice Deans of FMIPA UNNES, and also the Head of Master Program of Science Education of UNNES, Mr. Ariff Ph.D., and all webinar committee members, our beloved participants of this postgraduate webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Fidia Fibriana, the moderator for the session, for webinar panel session today. I'm very pleased to see you all here, and the warmest welcome to all of you to this special program. Now we have already our special and respectable speakers in the middle of us, Dr. Maisarah Hasbullah, Dr. Suzana Ariff Azizan, and Dr. Mohd Zuhri Mamat from Universiti Malaya, Malaysia. You may give applause reactions to welcome them here. All right, thank you. Before the presentation begins, let us know the regulation on how the lecture will be going on. I would like to give the time to Dr. Maisarah, Dr. Suzana, and Dr. Mohd Zufri to deliver the material consecutively for 25 minutes each. And after all speakers finished presentation, we will have the Q&A session for 30 minutes. So without further ado, our first speaker for this session is Dr. Maisarah binti Hasbullah. I would like to read her CV first before beginning delivering the presentation. We are waiting for this. Okay. So Dr. Maisarah binti Hasbullah is a senior lecturer in the Department of Science and Technology Studies, Faculty of Science, Universiti Malaya or Malaysia. She is Malaysian and has the B.Sc in Policy Pengurusan Sains dan Teknologi, and she holds a Ph.D. in Sejarah and Falsafah Science from She teaches master and bachelor degree and have supervised 6 master degree and 6 doctoral degree students. Her expertise area are in the history and philosophy of science. She had many remarkable research projects funded nationally and internationally, such as MDEC, UMRG, HNE, SAH, UMCARES, international funding. And now she is conducting the Fundamental Research Grant Scheme, or FRGS, in AI Impact to Human Autonomy as the principal investigator. She has published her research results in some reputable international journals available online, such as in Al-Shajarah, History of Education, International Journal of Innovation, Creativity and Change, Journal of Urban Technology and Sustainability, and many more. She also has published a book chapters, and proceeding papers. Her works and contributions have also remarkable, such as working as an evaluator, examiner, reviewer, and assessor in many academic and professional services. So allow me to welcome Dr. Maisarah binti Hasbullah to deliver her presentation in the topic of research and ethics. Please join me in welcoming her with a round of applause. Okay. And Dr. Maisarah, time is yours for 25 minutes.
Thank you so much. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. And I'm happy to share my knowledge to all the lecturers, researchers, and also all postgraduate students. But however, before I start my presentations, let me thank to Prof. Dr. A.D. Cahyono, the Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Negeri Semarang, for giving us this opportunity, and our moderator, Fibriana, and also our MC, Puan Lutfia. Okay, and for my very nice CV about myself. Thank you so much. Okay, and then don't forget to Prof. Dr. Ariff, okay, Unias Tuti, and also some of my research collaborators such as Prof. Aini, Prof. Nugra, Pak Sigit, Puan Aditya, and many more if they are here. And also to all lecturers and postgraduate students. And thank you for your time, okay, to join this webinar today. And this morning, okay, I will share a few basic things about research ethics, and which is, I believe that this is an important topic for all of us as a lecturer and also as a researcher, and of course, as a postgraduate student. So in this presentations, wait, yeah. Okay, so in these presentations, I will cover the first part about introductions, okay, mainly about the importance of research ethics in institutions such as in higher learning education. And then I will a bit introduce by historical perspective about the background of research ethics. And then I will move on to research governance, okay, which I explain some example from international governing bodies in research ethics. Then I just provide some justifications, okay, what makes research ethical. And the last part, okay, I will try to link with the practical purpose of research ethic, which the ethical review of research with example from the literature and also from University of Malaya. Okay, so this is introduction, yeah, ethical behavior with integrity. This is very, very important to maintain our academic and research activity. And it is crucial in certain fields, and such as medicine, finance, or law, but it is also gaining recognition in all disciplines engaged in research. So therefore, yeah, institutions are expected to develop ethical guidelines in research to maintain quality, to maintain our integrity and transparency, okay, by limiting any allegations of misconduct. And this is especially true for higher education organizations that promote research and scholarly activities. So we can see from the literature, yeah, many European institutions have developed their own regulations ethics, yeah, by incorporating international codes. But however, okay, day to day, okay, the lesser developed countries are trying to set up these committees to govern their own academy and research. And WHO, for example, mentioned that ethical principle is very central and important in order to protect the dignity, rights, and welfare of research participants. And ethical guidelines taught to students, hopefully, it can help to develop ethical researchers who uphold values of ethical principle in practice. So I would like to refer to one example. For example, the Singapore Statement on Research Integrity has provided an internationally acceptable guidance for responsibility research practice, or RRP. So this statement is basically based on the principle, okay, in maintaining honesty, accountability, professional courtesy in all aspects of research, and try to maintain fairness during collaborations. Okay, so ethical aspect is actually very broad, okay. It's not only cover in the process of research itself, but it covers wider aspect of integrity beyond the operational aspects. Okay, so if you refer this slide, okay, as explained in the figure 1, okay, we can see the whole diagram. Successfully governed research should consider ethics at the planning stages prior to research. So we can see from the research directions, okay, this is a summary of the enabling ethical governance at different stages of research. Note that it is imperative for researchers to proactively consider the ethical implications before, during, and after the actual research process. So the summary shows that RRP, okay, responsible research practice, should be in line with ethical consideration even long before the ethical approval stage. Okay, so you can see here in the diagram, in the figure, starting from research idea, you have to think, okay, about research, about ethical also, and then about also in the proposal development, where actually the issue of collaboration, integrity of partners, issue ethics, methodologies, and then the third part, this is where the application for ethical approval, okay, that need to be submitted to the organizations, then data collection stage, and then the dissemination and public engagement, and the last one, translation and practice. Okay, if you can see, the whole research direction is actually need some kind of ethical considerations. Yeah. Okay, and this is table 1 is a summary of agreed responsibility for researchers. Yeah. So in this table is actually a summary that mentions the researcher responsibility. If you see here, okay, upholding integrity at all stages of research. So this is the research responsibility. But however, what the organization or institution can do, okay, in the part of RRP advancement. So for example, to help the researcher in the proper research design in consideration of all stakeholders to govern the process, yeah. And then, for example, other responsibility, researcher responsibility, if you see the accurate record keeping. So you must, you must think that long-term competency check, data handling, storage by avoiding, minimizing data breaches, and many others. So this part is actually, it needs to be some kind of collaboration between researcher and also organizations. Okay, so these are some of the summary of agreed responsibility and how actually the certain organization, higher learning institution, can govern this research ethics, process, and so on, and help our research much more systematic in a way for ethical considerations. Okay, so I just touched a bit about historical perspective about research ethics. Yeah, historically we can see that, yeah, from the literature, ambiguous decision making and also resultant incidences of research conduct have led to the need for ethical research governance in as early as the 1940s. So you can see from the pictures, okay, how the Nazi did experiment, okay, to human being, okay, and it considered that unethical, and it brought some kind of mental and also physical disabilities and death, okay, and this happened, okay, after World War II, okay, and then there are a series of what we call it incidences, okay, in research that what we call it that need to be looked at. Okay, then, so for instance, okay, the importance of international governance was realized, yeah, after the World War II, when people discovered the unethical research practices carried out by the Nazi scientists. And as a result of this incidents, okay, in 1947, the Nuremberg Code was published. So, and also there are also incidents in USA, for example, about the case of Tuskegee syphilis study in Alabama. So from this selected case study, we can say that after that there are a lot of a lot of movement that try to formulate guideline, okay, and then protect participants, yeah, for research. So, for example, okay, we can see that in the 1947, okay, is this the first ethics guideline, Nuremberg Code, Code in 1947, which had certain important ethical consideration, voluntary consent, risk benefit, and scientific. Okay, and also there are also the Declaration of Helsinki, yeah, and World Medical Association in 1964. These are the example of how the guideline can be as our reference for ethical consideration. And the code mainly focus such as on informed consent, okay, that try to avoid physical and also mentally suffering, and avoiding human research that would result, for example, in which death or disability. Okay, so then, okay, it continuously, okay, progress in terms of ethical guideline. And we can see then the focus of ethical research governance gained in momentum in 1974. And as a result, for example, Bellman report, which is stated on ethical principle and guidelines for the protections of human subject of research, was published in 1979. And as a current forms of ethical governance in biomedical and behavioral research. So in this report, it mainly stated those principles, for example, respect for person, beneficence, and justice, the accepted as the three fundamental principles for the ethical conduct of research involving human participants. And then next, okay, in 1993, one example of guideline, Council for International Organizations of Medical Science. This is where, what we call it, the importance from this guideline is that, okay, the role of ethics committee started to emphasize. Okay, so it's not only in the international level, but in the institutional level. So this is where now we can see much more concern about the establishment of the ethics committee in every institutions, especially in research and higher learning educations. Okay, now I move on to research governance. Yeah. So research governance can be defined as the broad range of regulations, principles, and standards of good practice that ensure high quality research. So for example, in this slide, table 2, this is summary of prominent governing ethics body. So for example, there are a few countries, for example, UK, USA, Canada, and the global, and these are specific governing body that maintain and then govern their research ethics. But however, there are also specific certain organizations, governing body that govern specific research area. So we can see here, for example, in the UK, Biotechnology and Biological Sciences Research Council, okay, much more manage, more what we call it, more broad research area, which is ethical governance. But if you refer to the USA, for example, US Office for Human Research Protections, so this research much more on involve what we call it, manage research ethics involving human subjects. Okay, then I'll move to this ethical principle. So what makes research ethics ethical? So it's basically, if you're talking about research in practice, okay, it's basically the adaptation from the principalism in biomedical ethics, or maybe someone, okay, also known as bioethics. So there are 4 main principles. For example, respect for autonomy, non-maleficence, beneficence, also justice. So these are the basic principles that apply in research ethics. And what makes the research ethics? So there are about 7, okay, on what makes the research ethics. For example, what makes the research ethical? So for example, about social and scientific value, scientific validity, justice and inclusiveness, favorable risk-benefit ratio, independent review, free and informed consent, okay, respect for the potentials and enrolled subjects, and respect for vulnerable person. So these are some of the important points, what makes the research ethical. Yeah, so this is basically, it comes from the basic ethical principle, which emphasize in bioethics. Okay, what is research ethics? Okay, it is the field of ethics that systematically analyze the ethical and legal questions raised by research involving human subjects. So its focus is to ensure that the study participants are protected and ultimately that clinical research is conducted in a way that serves the needs of such participants and of society as a whole. And it works when and only when it is applied before the research is conducted. So so now the ethical review. Okay, so the ethical review of research is basically how actually the practical side of research ethics. Okay, so what is ethical review? It is a process by which research proposals are reviewed for their compliance and accordance with the national or international ethical principle and guidelines for research involving human subjects. And research requiring ethics review. So for example, all involving living human subjects by collecting identifiable informations or materials, including, for example, research with human tissue, embryos, fetus, interviews, surveys, questionnaire, and also secondary data analysis of data from living human subjects. So these are examples, of research that requiring ethics review. Okay, so because of the importance of committee review, so in the literature, we can see there are three types of different form of ethical committees in different institutions. So for example, in certain countries or certain institutions, there are one ethical committee which handle, for example, one ethical committee to handle all ethical applications. But if you see here, okay, in the slide, there are advantage and also disadvantage. Okay, and second type of forms of ethical committees that the committee itself is subject specific ethical committees. Okay, so you can see, for example, the advantage, we can have a quick decision. It has, but has a maximum flexibility. However, disadvantage, maybe local record, okay, keeping no consistency across university. And the third type of forms of ethical committee, that's one committee form, okay, institution within a country. So that means, okay, only one committee that manage within a country. That advantage, for example, in terms of efficiency, it can reduce reputations, but also it has certain challenges. Oh, okay. Which, for example, in terms of difficult to monitor, maybe will be delays in decisions, okay, or maybe minimum flexibility. So that's why for certain organization to build their ethics committee, they must bear in mind discuss of this kind of advantage and disadvantage of the type of form of ethical committees in their institutions. Okay, so these are, because what we call it, informed consent is very important, okay, while discussing research involving human. So these are just a very important point, okay, in the informed consent. And okay, so these are some questions, okay, example question that should have, okay, when you want to fill the informed consent or ask them. And there are also 5 basic elements to consider for an informed consent. Okay, so for example, statement clearly, and also the participant has the right, okay, to withdraw at any time. Okay, and this is the typical from the literature, review. This is a typical ethical approval process, okay, for quantitative and also for qualitative research. And this simplified flow chart, okay, the fundamental process for invasive and non-invasive ethical committee application is the same. The road and the requirement for additional information are slightly different, okay, but however, generally, there are certain flow where actually typical ethical approval process which should be, have been done in many organizations. And this is also, typical research ethics. But however, I'm referring to an example flowchart showing the procedure for an ethical approval, which was obtained from the Universitas as open access. Okay, so from there you can see that the general flow is that the researcher must submit application form to the reviewer. Okay, then the nominated reviewer has to review the application. Then let's say if everything's okay according to the ethical guideline, that will be approved, and then you can start your research. But however, when they think that something to be addressed, to be improved, or to be questioned by the reviewer, they will send it to you, the response, and then you have to do revision and then submit again to them, okay, until the approve, and then you can proceed with the project. But however, unfortunately, let's say they reject or decline your application, you may have certain space for appeal to the University Research Ethics Committee, and then to discuss with them how actually you can improve, okay, your applications. Okay, so this is basically in what happened in Universiti Malaya, and I believe that there are also certain practices in UNNES, Universiti Semarang, about this typical ethical process approval. Okay, so I'm referring to one of my university unit. We call it University of Malaya's Research Ethics Committee, or UMREC. So UMREC basically we process a non-clinical applications. So that means, maybe we are some kind of the second types of committee ethics, which we handle according to non-clinical and then clinical and also sciences, okay? So, and what I want to highlight is here is that our team is actually from various expertise, okay? And we include also lay representative. So this is where the societal part must come in. And the layperson or lay representative must be in one of the ethics committee. Okay, so this is just overview, and you can read it later. So in the website should be a clear guideline, clear instructions for the student or applicant to follow. And also we do have an application, which structured application form, to be easier to fill in by the applicants. And also we have a sample of consent form, sample of participant information sheet, and you have also to submit a questionnaire and interview guides. So these are the requirement and clearly stated in on the website. So then they will try to process your application in 30 days, and every month there are closing dates every month, and then they will randomly send our proposal to different person. Okay, and then this is the example of code of research ethics in the UM, and you can refer in the website. And these are the codes of research guidelines. For example, it's stated about sources of data, risk management, informed consent, recorded consent, pilot studies, parental consent, okay, is applicable for participants who are children under 18 years old, about security, benefit, and also about sensitive issues. So for example, maybe your research will affect certain sensitive issues like culture, religion, and so on. So it must be clearly stated in the application form. And this is also, we have UN Manual for Responsible Research. Okay, stated about management of research data. Okay, and this is about dissemination, publication of research findings, authorship, peer review. It's about conflict of interest, research collaboration, also misconduct in research. So just about the conclusions of my presentations. So ethics underpins everything we do, and especially in research. But however, I would like to emphasize here that ethical approval process differs from institutions to institutions. So please make sure that you read all the guidelines clearly and the instructions. And institutions are expected to develop ethical guidelines research to maintain their quality, and also integrity. And now much more needed, okay, basic needs on for ethical committee within an institution, and also sharing some example of typical ethical approval process, just for your information. I think that's all. I think, yeah, more 25 minutes. So thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Back to you, moderator Fibriana. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Maisarah. A very nice and very informative presentation. And now we more understand about the importance and the cruciality of ethics in our research. We need also the approval, and also the institution must be responsible for our research, especially related with the ethics before we do our research like that, right? Thank you very much, Dr. Maisarah. Give applause to her. And now I think we are going to the second speaker. And our second speaker, before she deliver her material of presentation, I would like to read her CV. Dr. Suzana Ariff binti Azizan. Okay. Kok enggak keluar di sini? All right, Dr. Suzana is a senior lecturer in the Department of Science and Technology Studies, Faculty of Science, same with Dr. Maisarah. She is Malaysian and has the B.Sc in Pengajian Sains dan Teknologi and M.Sc in Science from She holds a Ph.D. in Science from University of Wollongong, Australia. She teaches master and bachelor degree, and also she have supervised 8 master degree and 10 doctoral degree students. Her expertise areas are in the environmental protection, building capacity, and innovation management. Also, she has the research interest in human resource development and environmental ethics. She had many remarkable research projects funded nationally and internationally, such as Mohd, ADEC, Cares, HNE, Humanities and Ethics Research Cluster Grant, and now she is conducting the Living Labs at UMSDC as the co-researcher. She has published many research results in many reputable international journals available online, such as Sustainability, Frontiers in Psychology, Frontiers in Education, and many more. You can search her in her profile in Google Scholar or Scopus or WOS. She also has published book chapters and proceeding papers. So that is Dr. Suzana CV. And now we are going to proceed for the presentation from Dr. Suzana. And Dr. Suzana, time is yours for 25 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, let me share the screen first. Okay, all right. Okay, good morning to Prof. Edi Cahyono, Dean Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Negeri Semarang, Professor Dr. Ari Yunes Tuti, our moderator, Fidia Fibriana, to all lecturers and postgraduate students. Okay, thank you for joining this webinar. And today we are going to look into the topic of professional communications. My session, guide to professional communication that caters specifically for research students. Okay. So in this presentation, I will be focusing on how to write effective email and written letter for data collection during your research. Okay? So as we all know, research project, we often require data to support our findings, our research. However, sometimes the data you need is not readily available or accessible. So it becomes necessary for us or for the researcher to reach out and to request access to the required data. So this is where the skill, of creating a data collection email or to write a letter that comes into the scene. Okay? So professional communication important is, I could say, really important, okay, for postgraduate students when they are in the process of collecting data, yeah? Because it helps them to connect with the people that they are collecting the data from, okay, like their participants, okay, their collaborators, and also the stakeholder. Stakeholder in this, maybe you want to ask for fundings, okay, for grants, okay. So when you communicate clearly and professionally, it makes easier for people to understand why you are collecting the data, and this will eventually increase the chances of them to provide you with the response positively lah, give the positive response case. So in addition, okay, when you have a proper written document or email or letter, it will build trust and will shows that you are credible, which is this element is important when you need to access to sensitive or private information. Okay? So good communication also help to avoid confusion and make sure that everyone that you want to access, or the data you want to access, know what is expected during the data collection process. Okay? So we will discuss this the key elements of how to communicate effectively during your data collection process. So it includes the how to structure your letter and your email professionally, including a proper format, the language and the tone that you should use in your letter or email. Okay. So little bit about conclusion, introduction to communication. Communication is a process of understanding and sharing meaning. Okay? It is a process which a message is conveyed to someone, okay, to someone or a group of people. So for communication to be effective, the message must be conveyed clearly, and it should be received by the receiver in the same way as intended by the sender. Meaning here, this we are in the same line, okay, the same meaning. This means that the shared understanding is accurate and aligned with the sender original purpose. Okay. So effective communication is needed in any successful interaction, whether it's personal or professional. So professional communication, on the other hand, is the exchange of information, idea, messages within a formal environment, whether it's in a business, in a work, okay, or in your study, because we call it professional because it is a formal environment. So, and professional communications can take many forms. It can be in speaking, okay, listening, or in a writing form, right? So, these are the steps of professional communication process. Okay. The step one, develop the message. Okay. This first step, in your first interaction with individual, you need to be formal in the interaction. So be sure that you know your audience. Okay, this means that you should also include a proper title of the person that will be receiving your message. For instance, is it your bosses, your supervisor, or your professor, or your the admin staff? You have to know your audience. Who is your audience? Okay, when you want to develop the message. Okay, step 2, deliver the message. Meaning here that do some research on the people and the organization that you are going to be communicating with. Okay, then after you do some research about the people and the organization, and you form the content and proofread everything before you send it. Okay, and finally follow up the message. This way, it is a way to maintain the connection that you made, and also at the same time to show your interest to the conversation. Okay, so this is the channel of professional acting. Okay, professional communication. Okay, communication channel can refer to the method that we use to communicate, or as well as the specific tool that we use in the communication process. Okay, so the channel can be categorized into 3 main channels: written communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. Okay, normally as a student, we can use more than 1 channel at the same time. Okay, so written communication is recording words through writing to communicate. Example of written communication include letters, okay, your proposal, okay, emails, okay, and also manuals. Okay, and verbal communication, meanwhile, is a speaking words, okay, to communicate. It also known, we also know the verbal communication as oral communication. Okay, so one important element or in verbal communication is the tone, your voice tone. Okay, so a different voice tone can change the perceived meaning of a message that you want to convey. So as a student, if you want to get, for example, data from your informant, please maintain or please take care of your tone, the voice of the tone, or whether in terms of written or in terms of speaking. Okay, so and the third channel is non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication refer to your action. Okay, the communication through action, through behavior, through your attitude. Okay, that send a message to the receiver, right? For example, your body language. You can send through your facial expression, okay, or any body actions. For example, when you smile, when you raise your eyebrows, okay, or maybe your nod, okay, in agreement. So the receiver will pick up this signal, okay. So all the signal is important in order you want to communicate with the other people, okay. Okay, then because most of our research student, we focus on written. So I will give 2 examples of written communication in my presentation. Okay, so normally example of written professional communication is an email or letter. Okay, to be better writers, you need to first using common word instead of using complex word. You please choose the common word that ordinary people use. For example, in your letter or in your email, if you want to say utilize, better use use, okay, not utilize. Utilize is like academic words we refer, okay. Meaning here you have to keep your written simple, and your message will be clear. And then try to avoid technical words, jargon words, okay, that phrases that's common to us only for specific discipline or professions. Okay, so next is your tone. When you are writing, try to keep a positive vibe. Okay, meaning here go for positive influence to other. For example, right, instead of saying we cannot, you can say we can. Okay, for example, okay, a positive, you can say for example, this sentence, negative way. The interview cannot be arranged without my supervisor approval. Okay, you see it's a negative word, right? cannot be approved. Okay, but you can change it to positive way. The interview can be arranged after my supervisor approval. So it's like it's better to listener to hear that sentence, right? So finally, you have to keep your word and sentence short because long sentence sometimes can confuse your reader. Okay, so and because usually the email and formal letter are two written communication. So now we first look at the email. Okay, email is a convenient and fast. Normally, student will focus on email. Okay, and using on email. So there are different format used in writing a professional email. But a good email should have a logical structure and very clear. Okay, so this is some basic tips that you can follow in order to construct your email. First, please use an account with appropriate email address. Okay, your student address, university address. Okay, so I would suggest you to use your university email address. Okay. Second, your subject line should be meaningful. Should give your reader the idea of the content of the email. Okay, and then third, begin your email by addressing the title and the name of receiver. And at the end, the email, the closing part, put your name or your signature lah. Okay. So, and then view the email as a professional interaction. So to keep your mind that you are not texting your friends. Okay. So make it professional. So and because you are talking or you sending the email to the one that professional in their field. Okay, please mind with your words. Okay, and be clear and use correct spelling and proper grammar, and please allow time for a response. Okay, so allow at least 2 or 3 days for the receiver to respond to your email. Okay, and possibly more if you send email during weekend or holiday. Okay, so these are 2 examples of email. So there's email 1 and email 2. Okay, email 1. If you look at email 1, which one do you think is more professional email if you want to send to the say for data collection or to ask for information from the outsider? Okay, if you look at email number 1, okay, if you refer to back to our basic guideline for writing an email, if you look then now go for focus your attention to email number 1. Okay, look at the content, look at the subject, and look at the email address. Okay, is it appropriate, right? If you want to send in a formal or the professional way, right? So and now go back and look at email number 2. If you like, you look at the email address, the subject line, okay, and the appropriate of the content. Okay, the appropriate of the content, and also it provide information there. For at the end, at the closing, they provide information. For example, the phone numbers in case of the respondent they want to call you. Okay, you can go. Okay, so that this is a professional way of how to communicate with the outsider, or for example, for in this sense, as with your respondents. Okay, this meaning here respondent not only public society, but maybe someone from the public agency, from the government agency, from the industry. So you have to show how because your writing show who are you, you project yourself. Okay, so this one ini saya give you in bahasa Malaysia punya example. Okay, this one also not appropriate, not professional communication, because they look at this the email address and how they salute. Okay, the salutation is not professional. Okay, and there's not a proper closing because there's no name or anything to represent yourself. Okay, and this one the example also in bahasa, and this one I put the CC carbon copy here. You can CC to your supervisor. Normally student if you want to go outside, emails, agency, government, or industry, normally we will CC to our supervisor so that he or they will know that we are in connection or contacting, okay, the respondent. Okay, this in English, for example. Okay, this is the basic format. Okay, you have to have the recipient, the title, the salutation, the introduction, okay, and complementary closing. Okay, so email etiquette. So please be sure that this be sure that your message is personalized. Meaning here that you adjust it right. Meaning if it's miss, okay, if yeah, it is a professor, say that dear prof, okay. Secondly, be mindful of your tone, as I emphasized, and provide your name and contact information. Make sure the spelling grammar and keep it brief, and avoid using abbreviation, OMG, LOL. Don't use that in your professional email. Okay. So a formal letter, okay. Formal letter, usually, okay, they have five parts, okay, 5 components. The header means containing the sender address, okay. So the opening, the main text, the closing, and a signature section, okay. Because sometimes the data owner, the agency, the government, or the industry, they may have a protocol in place that require documentation for any authorizations. Meaning that they need a formal document in order for you to request to specific data or information that you need for your research. So that you have to remember that the letter represents you, and in order to communicate effectively, remember that your language should be clear, concise, and specific, and respectful. Okay, so this format of writing letter. So the header in the section of the letter contain your address, your name, and also the person who you are writing to, the address and the name. So before you send your letter, please conduct a necessary research to make sure that the recipient title is properly stated. Okay, and also double check details of the title and spelling of the address. Okay, the person that you want to send the letter. Then the greetings, the subject line. Okay, so the body. Okay, the body. The body is where you state the purpose of the writing. No? There's no standard length, but it is it's better to be brief. Okay, meaning try to limit the letter into 3 or 4 paragraphs only. Paragraph 1, to introduce yourself and also your university. Paragraph 2, explain why you need their data. Include include what you want to do with the data. For example, you want to use the data for your publication also. You have to include in the letter because it's somehow you ask them the permission to use the data for your journal publication, conference, okay? And that paragraph, it's a closing paragraph where you thank the recipient for considering your request, okay? So make sure in the letter, make sure that you include your contact information. Okay, so in case they want to call you, email you, okay, put in your letter. Okay, so this example of the formal letter, okay, in bahasa. Okay, so next we go to verbal way of communication. In this sense, we use telephone. Okay, the ethics of communication on telephone include time. Okay. First, always be mindful of the time when you're making a phone call. Okay, avoid calling too early in the morning, okay, or too late at night. So this for individual, and for when you call agency or organization, try to avoid call near lunch hour. Okay. So then after you choose the time, when you call, introduce yourself. Okay, when the other person answer the call, introduce yourself politely. Say something like, "Hello, this is Suzana. I'm calling from Universiti Malaya." Okay, just introduce yourself briefly. Okay, then number 3, purpose of the call. State the purpose of your call. Whether you are following up on an email. Okay, maybe you already sent an email and you haven't received any reply, any response. So you can call. Okay, call and see. You can mention that you have email on that day on when. So then after that give a general topic of the study. If you are calling for a specific study or project, briefly mention the topic, okay? And mind your language, tone, and also volume, okay? Because you need to use appropriate language, tone, and volume, because during call, the person on the other end can't see your expression, okay? So your tone is important. And number 6, okay, pay attention to the call and the conversation you made. And last but not least, be polite throughout the call. Say please, say thank you where appropriate. Okay, so after call, writing, so follow up. So what is the purpose of follow up? Okay, the purpose of follow up is to bring up subject back to the recipient. Okay, to the recipient attention. This could be like the continuing conversation you began previously, or if you want to remind them about the question or request, or asking for their response to something that you have previously submitted. Or maybe you have sent email, you have sent letter, but they just keep quiet and you still want the response. So you can go for follow up. Okay, and the format is similar to the letter or email just now, except for the body quite different, because you provide the information about your follow up. Okay, for example, you might remind them a prospect why you why, or maybe remind or give quick recap of the things that you are following up about. Okay, so when you want to send a follow-up, okay, if for example you haven't received a response to your email in a reasonable time frame, okay, you can you have to give the receiver quite sometimes, maybe a few working days, okay, after your original email. So when you send email, include the original email in the follow-up email. Okay, and if you're using a telephone call for follow-up, wait for appropriate amount of time, like a video or so, and again introduce yourself and remind the recipient of the purpose of your previous previous call, and politely answer or ask, okay, inquire about the status of your request. Okay? So this example of email, follow-up email. So I emailed you a couple days ago, okay, meaning here that you remind them that you have email and this is a follow-up email. Okay, so when you're approaching agency for data collection, and when you want to data from the agency, please make sure that conduct true research on the agency you intend to contact. Understand that the agency mission, the objective of the agency, okay, and most importantly, their data collection policy. Okay, this is important because it making because they need to know, they make the informed request. Okay, and secondly, contact the appropriate department or individual, meaning that you need to identify the specific department or individual that is responsible for handling the data that you need. Okay, and thirdly, clearly outline your research objective. Okay, meaning here you state why you need that data. Okay, and follow up after sometimes because we know that agency or the industry, they often deal with many requests and give sometimes before you follow up lah. Okay, and if you are working with individual, if you want to collect data with individual, make sure that the participant fully understand the research process, meaning they know their right and feel comfortable to provide the consent. Okay, this is important for those for example, if you want to do interview, okay, as a data collection method, okay, and you need to clearly explain the benefit of participation. Meaning that when you asking individual to be your participant, you must clearly explain what they get from that interview. Participants should understand how their involvement in the research can contribute to the study. Okay, and respect the privacy and confidentially, meaning that convince participants that their personal information will be handled with the highest care and only used for research purposes. And lastly, do provide consent form, like Dr. Maisarah said just now, the consent form and the information sheet from the ethics committee in order to outline the purpose of the study, the procedure involved, the potential risk, okay, and the benefit and their right as a participant. Okay, so to summarize, okay, whether you are communicating via email, via phone, or in person, you just be prepared and organized before any communication. Make sure that you have all the necessary information about the person that you want to contact. Okay, this shows the professionalism and respect for the recipient time. Okay, secondly, use professional language and formatting. Okay, you have if written communication, use a proper for email format, written format, letter format. Okay, and practice active listening, meaning that communication is not just about speaking, it is also about listening. Okay, practice active listening by giving your full attention to the speaker, meaning that give attention to speaker and ask if you don't understand, okay, and paraphrasing to confirm your understanding. Okay, so this will demonstrate that the respect, okay, that you give to the person. Okay, and finally, express appreciation, show gratitude, meaning that always express gratitude for the recipient time, for their attention, whether you can say it in the beginning or in the end of your communication. Just express the appreciation to show that your courtesy, okay, and also at the same time you can leave a positive impression, okay, to your participant. All right, I think that's all from me. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Moderator.
Well, thank you, Dr. Suzana, for your informative and great presentation about the guide to professional communication for research students. I think your presentation is very essential for our students because sometimes or many times I receive unorganized email messages from the students because maybe they haven't learned about communication skills in the academic field. So I think this is very informative and the students can learn about the communication because this is a soft skill that need to be practiced. All right, so thank you very much for Dr. Suzana and give applause to her. And if the participants have some questions, please hold it and keep it in yourself. We will have the third speaker for the panel session, and after that we will have the question and answer session. All right. So for the third speaker, I would like to welcome Dr. Mohd Zufri bin Mamat to deliver his presentation with the title of Share and Publish Your Research. But please, before that, I would like to read his CV. Okay, Dr. Mohd Zufri is a senior lecturer in the Department of Science and Technology Studies, Faculty of Science, UM. He is Malaysian and has the B.Sc Honors in Pengajian Sains dan Teknologi, M.Sc in Science, and Ph.D in Management of Literature from UM. He teaches master and bachelor degree and have supervised 2 bachelor degree, 13 master degree, and 15 doctoral degree students. His interdisciplinary background shaped his interest in discourse of modernization and values, society and socio-economic development, and science, technology, and sustainability. He has been holding administrative duties since 2015 in UM, and now he is the Jabatan Kuasa Keselamatan, Kesehatan Pekerjaan, dan Alam Sekitar Fakulty Sains UM. He had many remarkable research projects funded nationally and internationally, and currently he is doing research on the discourse of the potential of local knowledge or wisdom in medicine, specifically focusing on the use and practice of herbs and spices in COVID-19 treatment. He has published his research results in some reputable international journals available online. You can search his name in Al-Sajara, International Journal of Sustainability in Higher Education, International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, History and Education, and many more. So welcome, Dr. Mohd Zufri bin Mamat, and time is yours for 25 minutes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you, our moderator, Dr. Fidia. Can you hear me?
Clear.
Okay, all right. All right. So, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, hi, and good morning. First of all, thank you, and the special thank goes to Prof. Dr. Eddie Cahyono, Dean, Faculty of Med and Natural Sciences, our moderator, Dr. Fibriana, our research collaborator, long time no see, lama tidak bertemu, Prof. Ari, yeah, Prof. Ari, are you there? Yeah, Prof. Ari, okay, right. Prof. Aini, and then our my best friend, Pak Sigit. Okay, how are you, Pak Sigit? All right. Prof. Nugra, Puan Lutfia, Puan Aditya, and also many more. Maybe that I miss to mention here. All right. So let me share. Okay, right. So today I will share with you the title of I focus on how we publish our research or our finding dealing with public and scientific community, right? So from the 2 previous session or panel, okay, Dr. Mai already touched on ethical code in research, and Dr. Suzana deliver on professional communication. And then despite I think the most easiest the most easiest part in research, which is to publish to publish your research. All right, so I will briefly explain the concept of scientific communication, and then the key component, and also how to communicating research finding. And then the second part is dissemination of finding to public, communicating science to the masses, which is public or general public, right? Since our sharing session or discussion today is to focus, all right, to deliver or to disseminate your research finding to 2 party, right? The first is general public, and then the second one is scientific community. All right. So to share with public, okay, I touch on what is our role, your role, effective sign communication. Maybe you can be as a sign communicator here. So what you can do, okay, this one I will touch on media activities of sign communication. And then the third one is dissemination of finding to scientific community. All right. So why we need to publish, and then the journey or the process of publishing, okay, and then the challenges. Maybe this one quite just a sociological discussion. Okay, issues in scientific communication, and then impact from new academic culture. But I have to mention here that don't worry, this is not very in-depth discussion, but just a brief to give you the general idea, okay, regarding how we deliver or disseminate your research finding for two group, which is public and scientific community. And after that, okay, I share with you how to publish, okay, your strategies, and then what journal wants from you, and then the last or final part is rejecting or frustrated. Okay, I will share with you the slide. All right. How to communicate your finding. The final step in the research process is communicating finding, which enable researchers, okay, to share your finding with the academic community and the general public. All right, so this process can be called or can be known as sign communication. How we communicate sign, all right? Please don't be confused here. Sign communication with communication sign, right? So sign communication means how we deliver, okay, sign, how we deliver knowledge, okay, in this context, scientific knowledge to to other parties, okay, public or also internal community, which is referred to academic community. All right. Okay, brief concept of sign. Okay, sign communication is the practice of informing, educating, raising awareness of sign-related topics, and increasing the sense of wonder about scientific discoveries and argument. So, sign communicators, right? Sign communicators can be, we can be, all of us can be as a sign communicators, as long as you involve or you try to share your knowledge to for example to the public, okay, or to the audience. And then however sign communicators and audience are ambiguously which is not too clear, right? That's why I mentioned that everybody can be a sign communicators, right? So we define, and the expertise and level of sign knowledge different with each group. All right. Okay, so this one is a key component in sign communication. Okay, if we can see here, all right, we have of course scientists. Okay, so in this webinar also we have I'm quite surprised actually. We have almost more than 200 participant participant for today's webinar. This is a very interesting experience for me and also for my colleague. All right, so we are a scientist, all right, and then we have here, okay, press officer, and then also maybe a sign journalist. So in this key component, we can see the interaction, okay, between scientists to press officer, okay, scientists with sign journalist, okay, which is can called as society, all right, and then how we can see here also how all these three parties, okay, interact to each other, okay, whether scientists to sign journalists to press officer, okay, press officer to sign journalists and so on. All right. So this is how, in brief, in general, to understand the how we are going to do a sign communication. All right. So as scientists, you have the responsible, if you want to say that, all right, to deliver, to disseminate, to transfer, not 100% what we call your technical knowledge, but at least, okay, you give the idea, okay, about your finding, about your knowledge to society or to the public. Okay, right. So How to communicate research finding? Okay. In general, to put simply, we can share, okay, our research finding with maybe with public participation, which is this one we can try to bridge, we connect the knowledge to society, and then also from the conference presentation, okay, you can join conference, workshop, and so on. This one to able to give you the chances to share your knowledge, and also to build, okay, to develop your networking. And for today's, I will more focus on academic community, okay, so by publish scholarly articles, right? Okay, so this is maybe of one of our main discussion for today's. Okay, dissemination of finding to public community sign to the masses, to the public to the general public. Okay, like I mentioned in previous slide, sign communicators, okay, I can be as sign communicators, and also you, all of you can be sign communicators. Okay, what the most what we call a condition, the most characteristic is the sign communicators has to use the language that public understand. Okay, so yeah, we know that in sign we use very technical jargon. Also, we can call as jargon what we call words. All right. So as sign communicator, you have try your best to make it easy to understand, right? So yeah, we have technical, electrode, neutron, and so on. But yeah, if public, okay, we transfer, we disseminate our knowledge in yeah, we need to think a creative way, right? So that's your that is our task, is our responsible. All right. Okay, sign made simple, and also sign made exciting. Okay, these are very easy to write, easy to mention, but very hard to implement. Okay, to achieve this thing. All right. Okay, sign communicators. Okay, like I said, you should be able to explain sign in a simple way to the public, doing away with all the scientific jargon, instead using example that the public can appreciate and understand. Okay, so in this slide, okay, so far I try to share with you, okay, the first dissemination process, okay, to the general public, right? Okay, so as a sign communicator also, you have to make sign exciting, right? Sign communicators should also make sign an interesting subject matter when talking to the public. Otherwise, the message that need to be disseminated or to transfer will be misunderstood, for example, during the communication. All right, so yeah, this is not easy task. This is not easy task because from the very technical knowledge, we try to elaborate or try to explain in simple way, and also interesting, in also in interesting way. Okay, because we already know that, yeah, some of us considered or assume that science is not, yeah, is not interesting, right? Because one of my student, okay, in this current semester also do a research project on the science stream student enrollment in Malaysia. Okay, so what happened is from maybe 10 years back or 5 years back, all right, in Malaysia, the situation is only 40% of the highest school or at the university level, okay, student 40% student join or register, okay, take the science stream, right? So maybe they have different perspective. Maybe they assume that science is not interesting. I'm not sure, but the project, the research is still going. All right. Okay. So as a sign communicators, okay, to deliver, to disseminate your technical knowledge to the public, okay, what is your role? The first thing is know your audience. Okay, I think this one also the quite general tips, right, or quite general method, which is also applied in professional communication. Okay, like Dr. Suzana explained. Okay, how to communicate with your third parties researcher, for example. So we have to know our audience, okay, the status, the demography, the education background, and so on. And then identify the goals of communication, and then start with the most important information. Avoid jargon or technical words, and then be relatable. Provide a visual. Okay, stick to three point to about the talk about the scientific process, focus on the bigger impact, and develop an elevator pitch. Okay, this is proposed by Brian Eastwood. I think, yeah, the idea here is we have to be creative to deliver or to disseminate scientific knowledge to the public. Okay, so what you can do, once you already gather or collect your research data and already do the analysis, okay, I think you can go, okay, for this part, for disseminate your research finding to public. Okay, the first part of this discussion today, okay, maybe you can go to media and activities of science communication, like, okay, you write article, or yeah, your finding, okay, you share with a newspaper. Maybe you have good writing ability, you can write science fiction novel, science magazine, TV program, documentary, the script, okay, the science fiction drama series. But I'm not sure whether we will have many audience per mesa here, okay, if I'm not mistaken, sorry. All right, so yeah, if the TV station show Sinetron, maybe we have 5 million viewers, but I'm not sure if we have a TV program like science fiction or quite technical in science. Okay, that's our task, that's our responsible. Okay, try to make it easy, interesting, okay, to deliver scientific knowledge to the society. All right, science fiction, biography movies, science event, open day, science centers and museum. Okay, and then also we can involve, we can play a role as a citizen science. Citizen science mean we participate in societal program, like, okay, what we have in Universiti Malaya, for example, citizen science. Okay, all the lecturers, also Dr. Suzana, if I'm not mistaken, also involved with the UNNES, which is organization, or yeah, yeah, maybe organization that support sustainable development agenda in Universiti Malaya. So the lecturers and the scientists come go down to the join the what we call the public to deliver their expertise in maybe for example conservation of river and water and so on. All right. Okay, dissemination of scientific or research knowledge to scientific community. All right, so all of us, okay, as a scientist, okay, what the characteristic as a scientist, what people look on to a scientist. Okay, maybe a scientist can consider as a famous person, maybe fortune or rich. Is that true? I'm not sure. And then also endless opportunities. Okay, maybe scientists have very big opportunities to generate money, for example, okay, through their innovation and so on. Okay, why publish? So the first thing is why as a scientist we need to publish. Okay, this one we come to the second part, which is disseminate the scientific knowledge or your research uh, to academic or scientific communities. All right. So what is meant by a famous scientist? Okay. So is it the scientist is famous because of their ideas, charisma, their contribution, their legacy? Yes, of course. But the most important thing is um, the famous scientists known through their published work. Okay, that's why we as scientists, we as a researcher need to publish our work or our finding or our research. Okay, and also, according to I cite Martinian norms here. Actually, this one proposed by Robert K. Merton, QDOS, CUDOS. The first thing is communism. Communism, or sometimes referred to as communalism, which is addresses or highlight to the common ownership of scientific discoveries and the need for scientists to publicly share their discoveries. So this is Mertonian norms in scientific uh, activities, okay? Which is the first one is communism, universalism, this interestedness and organized skepticism. The first one is communism, which is to highlight the scientist has to share, okay, has to publish their works or their discoveries, right? So in academic nature, okay, so not published means nameless, okay, not being acknowledged. People will not know you, and then very, I think, quite shocking term here is publish or perish. Okay, so maybe this one in University Malaya, for example, okay, we have deal with this situation, publish or perish. But the positive side is it is encourage the researcher or the scientist to publish. Okay, so in publish or perish, the pressure in academia to rapidly and continually publish academic work to sustain or further one's career. Okay, so if you want to sustain, you want to retain in that organization, which is in your university, especially in the case of University Malaya, okay, you have to publish. You can ask after this, Dr. Mai and Dr. Suzana. Maybe this question is quite out of the box, but what? Sorry, Dr. Mai. Okay, what our feeling? Yeah, to keep publish every year. But it's quite interesting because, like I said, this is from the positive side. It encourage the lecturer, scientist or researcher to try to publish. Also, from our collaboration with Prof. Aini, Prof. Ari, Prof. Nobra, Pak Sigit, and team, we also already planned or organized some paper, some article to publish actually, okay, from our research collaboration. So I hope we can have a good progress on that, Dr. Mai. All right, and Dr. Prof. Ari. All right. So and then the other thing is publish or and flourish. Scientists will be respected and be regarded as an authority when their works are significant. All right. So the journey of publishing discoveries. So at this point, I see that publishing as a system, okay, as a system of communication in science. We know that science is a cumulative and progressive, extensive and critical tradition field of knowledge. Publish will open science to debate, critique, and meaningful discourse. This led to science characteristic, namely dynamic and progressive. Okay, so I just go quickly on this. Okay, so when published, it must be original works. Okay, maybe you can Okay, see here, with proper citation method to avoid a big no in academic, which is a plagiarism. This one can be another topic. Maybe Dr. Suzana like to have another webinar. Okay, all right. Cited from previous work finding, and then make the research finding accessible, and also okay, you can publish in article journals in Scopus. This one. Database, abstract indexing database. Scopus inspired by the bird, actually hammercock, Scopus umbretta. So Scopus stand for Scopus umbretta, the bird's name. Web of Science, this one ISI journal. If you are familiar with that journal, okay, Web of Science ISI, Master Journalist WOS. So also can publish in articles, book, and etc. that related to academic nature, right? And then your publication, of course, printed or online. So for academic writing or academic publication, okay, you can go for Scopus and Web of Science, ISI, and also I have to mention the local journal is okay. Okay, so it's also good for to publish in local and also in international. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. I think I will skip this one. Okay, maybe you can see the different situation, the different scenario. This one impact of publish or perish. Okay, that's why I wrote here. Okay, impact from new academic culture. The emphasis on number of application have led to rise in unethical. Okay, this one also quite from the negative side of new academic culture. Okay, when many cases like ghost authorship, fraud, you can read yourself, right? And then this one, most famous scandal, scandals. This one regarding semiconductors, I think. Okay, semiconductors. So the publication, okay, the data is not valid. Okay, they are lying in collecting data. Okay, and then also this one regarding stem cell. Okay, Korean scientists did not clone a human embryo but did clone a dog. Okay, this one the urge, okay, to publish, and then yeah, unethical scientists, unethical researcher will do this. Okay, please, my beloved friend, okay, don't do this unethical method. All right. Okay, list of okay. All right. Okay, so how to publish, all right, your strategies. Okay, this one I think very important. Maybe 5 minutes. Okay, identify. Okay, your strategies is identify field of research, area, niche, and discourse. Okay, let's say, for example, you are doing in sustainable development. So this one, the general field, and then the area may be policy, maybe innovation, maybe management. Okay, and then the niche and discourse is engagement, can be engagement, education, student roles, university role. Okay, this one is important to align the flow of idea or content to suit with the journal nature. Okay, so let's say the journal is more on education in sustainable development. So try to what we call to write, to arrange, okay, to develop, to formulate your idea, okay, regarding to the journal's idea. Okay, that's the one tip to be accepted in publication. Okay, so do citation on article from that particular journal so that your paper follows the journal's current discourse. Follow the journal. Okay, the third one is also very important. Follow the journal's writing format absolutely. Okay, you have to follow 100%. Okay, so different journal have different writing format. All right. So what journal wants from you? Okay, this one. This is how assessor or examiners evaluate your papers. Okay, this one one of my I also be a reviewer for for one journal. So this is the element, the component that the journal wants from you. So the first one is originality. Does the paper contain new and significant information adequate to justify publication? The first one. And then the second one is how your paper will be evaluated is relationship to literature. Does the paper demonstrate an adequate understanding of the relevant literature in the field and cite an appropriate range of literature sources? Is any significant work ignored? And then the number 3 is methodology. Is the paper's argument built on an appropriate base of theory, concept, or other ideas? Has the research or equivalent intellectual work on which the paper is based been well designed? Are the methods employed appropriate? And then result. Are results presented clearly and analyzed appropriately? Do the conclusion adequately tie together the other element of the paper? Practicality and or research implication. Okay, does the paper identify clearly any implication? This one maybe refer to your contribution and originality, right? And then the last one is quality of communication. This one, does the paper clearly express its case? Also maybe the language, the grammar, and so on. All right. Okay, so this is what journal look on your paper. Okay, so if you want to publish, you have maybe this one can assist as a guideline, okay, to meet the minimum requirement or minimum quality in publication. Especially this one is S.Si international journal. Okay, rejecting, frustrating. Okay, keep rejected and receive critical comment are normal when submitting paper to journal. Don't worry. Follow all the constructive, okay, quote unquote, constructive. Kadang-kadang you akan rasa sakit hati, comment from assessor or examiner and do correction and improvement. So refine and then resubmit to the same journal. And if you keep rejected, okay, please find other journal. All right. And then okay, this one example. This one is one of my paper with my student. Okay, 3 times of correction. After 3 times of correction, so this paper got accepted. Okay, thank God, Alhamdulillah. But how to respond to the comment? Okay, you can write on like this table, right? The comment of examiner and then your responses. Okay. So the conclusion, why is it true that scientists need to publish in order to obtain a level of authority? It is also imperative that scientists communicate their finding to the masses, general public, who may not understand science as scientists do. The public does not read journal articles and does not necessarily understand scientific jargon. There should be scientists who take the role as science communicators. I hope you can be as a science communicators in disseminating scientific knowledge using a language that the public understand. So don't forget, try to publish your research finding, publish or perish. Okay, so all the best. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Zufri, for your nice presentation about communicating your findings, dealing with the public and scientific community. Maybe I and some audiences here have some questions on how to communicate our knowledge and research results in an effective science communication. Your presentation has the answer on it, right? So we can actually communicate by publishing it in scientific journals, proceedings, or maybe book chapters. And the word publish or perish. Is a great reminder for us as the researcher, right? So thank you very much for Dr. Zufri. Give applause to him for his great presentation. And now, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the question and answer session. We would like to have maybe first 3 questions from the audiences. You can actually you can also use bahasa, no worries, right? We can use bilingual. All right. So we have, okay, Prof. Sutikno. All right, Prof. Sutikno, maybe you can open your microphone.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Fidia. Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Zufri, for this very interesting presentation. I have one question for you about ethics in publication. in scientific communication, we should pay attention to ethics. One thing that should be considered in communication is interactional justice. Three important points in interactional justice are maintaining trust, giving reward, and avoiding conflict of interest. What is Prof opinion regarding research and publication activities that do not pay attention to aspects of interactional justice? For example, the emergence of ghost authorship, ghostwriters. Thank you.
All right, so the second question maybe from the audiences. Not yet? All right, so maybe for Prof. Sutikno, for his question can be answered by the speakers. This is related to the ethics. So maybe Dr. Maisarah? This is like the emergence of ghostwriter and maybe the one that maybe published a paper, but actually they didn't write it. Something like that, Prof. Sutikno, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Sutikno, for your questions. I think this is very important questions, and this is really implying the reality and challenges that we face today, and not only in Indonesia, Malaysia, and many other countries, which, for example, in university, okay, the ranking of university is very, very important, okay. Ghostwriter. So this is just my personal opinion. Maybe after that, maybe Dr. Zufri would like to elaborate more. Okay, about ghostwriter and so on, because we understand these are ethical ethics. Okay, the problem of ethics. We need to understand, okay, the ethical principles. So because of what reasons, okay, so we cannot, I mean, do this kind of activities, especially scholar activities. We need to put ourselves, okay, that principle, we need to emphasize that principle in ourselves. So basically, but instead of maybe we look at the problem of ghostwriter, we better see the situations in strategizing how we can improve our new researcher, our new lecturers, for example. Yeah, because I mean, this ghostwriter and so on, it's unresolved issues unless we take certain steps to overcome it. Okay, so in the first principle, this is unethical and we cannot do it. But however, to see the factors, the challenging factors that we face now in reality, to be remain as lecturers, as researchers, and also postgraduate, we need to get together, okay, to put much more maybe training. And I like the strategy of research collaborations. Okay, so basically, for my personal opinion, in terms of ethical publication, we need to overcome this. And I think the most practical one, okay, we need to improve ourselves, and also we have to add much more networking and also research collaboration. So hopefully, okay, as a lecturer, as a postgraduate student, okay, as a researcher, we can help each other, yeah, and then to improve this type of culture, academic culture. Thank you so much. Maybe Dr. Zufri, you want to add something?
Okay, all right. So maybe just quick response. Okay, ghost authorship. All right. So I think like I mentioned in my previous sharing session. So I think because the emergence of a new academic culture, okay, that very what we call push the scientists, or in the context of university lecturer, okay, in the context of university lecturer, okay, to publish, okay. but the most crucial, the most crucial part is, let's say, some of the university only recognize, only accept publication in international journal. Okay, once the lecturer publish in what you call local journal, is not counted in your key performance index. Okay, key performance indicator, right? Okay, your KPI. All right. So this is we led to the situation that lecturer try to any method, whether they just what we call gotong royong paper, gotong royong paper. All right. Okay, and also
Collaboration.
yeah, and also
Collaboration.
and also the worst case is gotong royong quite okay, work as a team quite okay, but the most worst scenario is maybe the lecturer or the scientist pay for the others parties, other writer to prepare journal article and then just put their name. Okay, all right. So that's why from my personal opinion, it's good to publish, to encourage the lecturer to publish. But like I said, I'm not memburukkan tidak, tetapi ini yang berlaku, this is happen, when we more highlight more on only on publication, the lecturer sometimes forget the other roles. For example, that's why we stress on public engagement, science communication, because scientist or a lecturer, is not what we call living in only in their community. Scientist, lecturer should involve, should engage with the society. Okay, so scientists cannot be shock sendiri. Do you know shock sendiri? Okay, so that's why in Universiti Malaya we are facing, we are already dealing with these challenges. I think more than 10 years, right? Dr. Mike, okay, that's my quick response. So we have to have a balance, what we call lingkungan, academic, lingkungan yang mesra, saya rasa macam itulah sepatutnya lah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you. So we are waiting for the next questions from the participants. Maybe saya mau emphasize sedikit untuk mungkin teman-teman atau saudara mahasiswa yang ada di sini terkait dengan pertanyaan Prof. Sutikno. Jadi sekarang ini kan kita sering sekali mendengar ada perjokian ya. Kalau dalam bahasa Indonesia, ghostwriter is kind of a joki. We call it joki. Jadi kalau misalnya kalian itu menulis tapi dituliskan oleh orang, kemudian sebenarnya kalian itu tidak menulis, tapi yang publikasi adalah kalian. Nah, seperti itu. Itu jadi maksud dari pertanyaan Prof. Sutikno seperti itu. Dan kalau itu terkait dengan etika ya, etika penulisan itu sangat-sangat tidak diperkenankan sebenarnya seperti itu. Namun memang saat ini seperti itu. Okay, so we have the question from Sebastianus Fedi. So you prefer to raise your question from chat box or you want to communicate by yourself via microphone? Sebastianus? Okay, so maybe from the chat box. I will read it. How we raise our communication skill to communicate when we are on lowest position to connect highest position partners. How we raise our communication skill. Okay, so this is about the communication. So I think this question goes to Dr. Zufri and no, Dr. Suzana. Dr. Suzana, communication skill when we are on the lowest position. Maybe lowest position is level ini ya, level posisi kita sebagai mungkin bawahan, kemudian kita punya partner di atasan seperti itu. Yeah. Maybe this question is about how we communicate effectively when we are in the lower position with the partner that we are going to communicate with, and the partner has the higher position than us, something like that, Dr. Suzana.
maybe
maybe
the question from Sebastian, yes, maybe he want to ask how we want to write a letter or email to our superior.
yeah,
Is it
something like that.
Okay. First of all, you need to know who the superior. Okay, because as I mentioned or stressed from the presentation just now, make sure the tone, the intonasi of the email, surat itu proper. Okay, then the language, bahasa yang digunakan. Mungkin kalau di Malaysia kita ada kata bahasa formal, formal punya language. English pun put we have a formal language, the English language or the bahasa, use formal language, and communication in writing or sending email is it also similar when you communicate in life. Okay, when you talking to other person, you should be polite, orang kata beradab. So when you going, for example, if you write email, you want to send email or write a letter to the highest position, the counterpart, you have to put the affiliation, maybe dear professor, dear Mr. Manager, put their full name, use appropriate salutation, okay, and the content you have to prepare it to make it very clear. Mean use easy words to understand. Okay, and your content should have introduction, should have the body of the content, and you have to have a closer. Okay, and the end of your letter or your email, you have to give put your name and your signature. These are the basic format. But for communication, talking, you need to practice, because it just can happen overnight. You need to practice. You imagine that you talking to your parents, okay, to your supervisor. Okay, as a student, you're talking to supervisor. How you talk to supervisor? So you have to, meaning the skill, the communication skills, you need to practice. Okay, you need to practice how to write a letter, how to write email, how to talk to your supervisor. So as a student, sometimes my student will show when the draft of the letter or the draft of the email before they send to the maybe the participants or the receiver. Okay, is it okay, Sebastian? What the question?
Not sure, Sebastianus, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So how about the answer? Is it already answer your question or not?
I only say thank you. I
Okay.
understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So practice makes perfect about this communication skill. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Suzana. For the next question is from Anis Sobika. What about research with the theme of mathematical literacy bibliometrics? Can it be accepted as relevant research by, I'm not sure about this Scopus, or maybe you want to say Scopus, because bibliometric research is statistical descriptive. All right. So I understand the question.
The question.
Yes. Oh, Anis, are you here?
Question, Prof. Zufri.
Yes. All right. So this question goes to Prof. Zufri. This is about the theme. All right. So maybe you want to ask by yourself?
Okay, alright. So thank you for the question. Terima kasih atas soalannya. So this one, I think your question is your field is mathematical literacy bibliometric. So can it be accepted as relevant research by Scopus? Okay. Actually, in one journal, okay, let's say you submit to one journal, okay, Scopus or WOS, Web of Science, actually a database, okay. So under the WOS and Scopus, they have a lot of many journals, right? Dr. Mike, Dr. Suzana can help me. but from my understanding, okay, from my knowledge, okay, sometimes one journal, okay, they index in both Scopus and also in ISI and in WOS, right? Okay, so normally, Dr. Mai, maybe you can help me after this. Scopus more on social science, right? If I'm not mistaken. But in I think my friend in mathematics, they go for ISI. Okay, they go for WOS, Web of Science, I think. Okay, maybe yeah, maybe Dr. Mike can add some information if you have. Am I answer your question, one or Dr. Anis or Dr. Suzana?
Okay, Dr. Zana, maybe you can add some more information, Dr. Suzana.
Okay, correct me if correct me my understanding on the question is, you ask us whether your topic or the theme of mathematical literacy bibliometrics are suitable to be published or not. Is it that?
Yes, yes, I think so.
Okay, so my advice is for our student first, after finish your data collecting, okay, when you decide to publish, first look for journal, the suitable journal, okay, because every research or every field of research that we venture to, orang kata semuanya ada journal yang berkaitan. Jika kita rasa susah nak cari journal sesuai, look the most of the journal that you read for your literature review. Okay, when you maybe because when you do literature review chapter, right, you read a lot of journals. So dari senarai-senarai journal tu mesti ada journal yang berkaitan dengan your research. So you aim at the journal. Okay, for example, this mathematical literacy bibliometrics, maybe ada juga journal berkaitan dengan topik this bidang. Then you aim for that journal. Look for the style, okay, the style, the format of the journal, the article in that journal. Then you follow the format, the style. What you should focus, what you should emphasize when you want to submit your article to that journal. And the other strategy, maybe you can ask your supervisor. Okay, sometimes supervisor they have a lot of experience, maybe sent and rejected by journals. Okay, so ask your supervisor, work together with your supervisor. So that's the work or the job of your supervisor to advise you. Okay, to advise you on the journals, the formats. Okay, your research. Okay, so even though it's you think it's not the topic is not relevant, but yet yes, there's journal related to your research. Just search, okay, and it's if you think it's impossible, go look at your literature. What journal that most of your literature come from? Okay, okay, Anis.
Okay, very clear. Thank you very at the front. Yeah.
Yeah, Anis.
Clear.
Ibu Anis, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Prof. Sutikno again. You want to say your question? Deliver your question,
Okay,
Prof. Sutikno? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Fidia. I have a question related to ethics. They often find that the duration of the review process is uncertain. Yeah? So we often have to wait a long time. Yeah. When we decided to submit to another journal, it turned out that the article that had been sent or that have submitted to the first journal was accepted. How to avoid double submission of manuscript and keep manuscript published as soon as possible. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the question goes to Dr. Zufri about the publication ethics related to the duration for
Double
reviewing
submission,
process.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Submission to review process to publication process. All right. So Dr. Zufri, could you
Okay,
please?
all right. Okay, so when normally the time duration for from you submit, okay, until the paper accepted, right? So normally it actually depend on journal, but generally it will take, okay, for the first response, okay, from my experience, for the first response from journal, they will respond within 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks, whether they accept your paper to further evaluation, or they reject your paper. Okay, so let's say after within 2 weeks, okay, they reject, so they will email you. Okay, they said that, okay, your paper rejected. Okay, and then if your paper not rejected, that means for the further evaluation, okay, so the journal will inform you, okay, that your paper will be assessed by examiners, right? So this process will take, also depend on the examiners. Okay, normally in my case, as an examiner of journal, okay, the journal give me 2 weeks, 2 weeks to review the paper. All right, so if all the normally they have three examiners, okay, so if all the three examiners already submit their report of assessing your paper, maybe after one month, maybe after 1 month, the editors will email you, okay, and then share with you the response from the examiners. Okay, let's say the examiner said that your paper is major correction, whether rejected, maybe accepted with major correction or with minor correction. Okay, the first thing is rejected. Okay, rejected mean, okay, the journal will give you a reason or justification. Normally, they will be very professional. Okay, they said that your paper is good but not aligned with our discourse of our journal and so on. Okay, all right. And then the second one is your paper accepted with major correction. Okay, so for the major or minor correction, okay, you have to go through all the examiner's comment. Okay, every single thing that examiner's comment. Okay, my suggestion, you put in table. Okay, and then you mention the examiner's comment, and then you write, okay, what your response, what is your action, okay, regarding the all the comment from examiners. Okay, so normally a journal will give you 2 weeks, okay, to do a major or minor correction. So in total, in my past or previous experience, okay, from you submit, yeah, maybe like I said, okay, 1 week, 2 week, but normally in general, it can take until 3, 6, and even 1 year for your paper being accepted. Okay, so that's my response.
All right. So
Thank
thank
you,
you very
Prof.
much. Thank you very much. So we are now actually finally come to the end of part of this agenda because the time is running out. And so sorry for maybe if you have any questions, you can drop your questions via message, and then we can like communicate your questions to our speakers later on. Or you can also maybe send your message to their email address. Maybe you can practice also to apply your knowledge about the communication skills, especially by emailing the professional email, something like that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end part of this agenda. Before I close the panel session, I would like to take some conclusions from what the speakers have presented. Guide the research from idea to dissemination. The researcher must be responsible, have the integrity, and you must conduct the research with appropriateness and transparency. The ethical committee must be responsible for the institution to review and approve research proposals, especially those that are related to the patients, human, animals, or personal data. People who work in the professional field must have the skills of formal communication. Some communication skills can be reached in written, verbal, or non-verbal modes. We have to organize our messages before sending them to the partner of communication. The organized communication is a soft skill that needs to be practiced so the message can be transmitted effectively and in a polite and positive tone. We have to prepare, organize, and use professional formatting to show our gratitude to achieve effective communication. And we can communicate by publishing our research results in scientific journals, proceedings, and book chapters. Even we can publish our findings in the form of popular writing, such as science fiction books, story or short story, or maybe dongeng, etc. And the last but not least, you can choose to publish or flourish or not publish and perish. It's up to your hand. This is a very great reminder for us as the researcher. Don't forget, last but not least, we have to do and disseminate our research from beginning to the end in an ethic way or ethically. That's all from me. I'd like to thank so much to the speakers for all informative and interesting presentations, and also for the active all participants who are very excited to join this webinar session. Hopefully the webinar will be beneficial for everybody. Amin. So please give applause for the speakers and for you all. Thank you so much. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I may proceed to MC, Miss Lutfia.
Yeah. And now we will share token of appreciation that will be given to all of the speakers. So please committee, share the appreciation on screen. The second appreciation and the last. Last is for Dr. Zufri as the speaker of this webinar. Yeah, and also for the moderator, Mrs. Fibriana. Thanks for all of the guidance during this session. Yeah. What a great presentation and also great session. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of this event. Thanks to all of the speakers who already gave the fruitful presentation and discussion. And I am thankful also to all of the guests and participants of this webinar. I do hope you all enjoy this event and see you again in the next event. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Suzana.
Sama-sama. Terima kasih semua ya. Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Alhamdulillah, terima kasih.
Sampai
ketemu lagi.
Dr. Sigit,
Ya.
sehat ya.
Tiba-tiba nampak Pak Sigit di sini.
Pak Sigit.
Iya, Pak Sigit tadi mengajar.
Tadi saya mengajar Brunei, Dr. Zufri. Ya. Salam sehat. Ya.
Alhamdulillah.
Kapan ke UNNES?
Prof Sutekno ini
bulan
suaminya
5, bulan 5.
Bulan 5, insyaallah. Insyaallah ya.
Insyaallah.
Puan Mai.
Ya.
Prof Sutekno ini suaminya Prof Nur Aini.